like to state that anyone who has any questions, due to time restraint, it would be preferable that you go talk outside after all presentations are over. I am extremely sorry for this problem. Now first, there will be a total of 3 papers. Each paper will be approximately 25 minutes each. And for our first paper, we have Alexandra Sokolova from Vilnius Gediminas Technical University, discussing the issue of employer branding as recruit and retention tool for the universities. I hope you enjoy her presentation.
Hello to everyone, the participants of this round of the conference. And my name is Alexandra Sokolova, and I am a Vice Director of VGTU, Vilnius Gediminas Technical University International Relations Office. So in a sense, I'm representing the supporting staff, actually, and administrative part of the university. And we, with a colleague, with the Vice Director of our university, Asta Davicina, has prepared the article, the title of Employer Branding as a Recruitment and Retention Tool for the Universities. And I'm going to present some aspects of this article, and the article will be available on our project website, so you will have an opportunity to go into details later on. As I've mentioned, I'm representing the supporting staff, administration. Asta represents both academic staff and administrative staff, as she also teaching. You've heard several times throughout our conference about the challenges that universities face, and you know them very well themselves. These are the challenges related to recruiting and retention of the best employees. This challenge applies to both categories of employees, to academics and to supportive staff. And decrease of the funding, we probably all face that. And also increasing competition for top talents. It starts to be extremely difficult to attract the best academics to the university and compete on national and also on international arena, as academics are also attracted by business companies. So we have not only compete between the universities, for instance, but also with business companies. And there are a number of companies who has started to apply the employer branding strategy in order to overcome this challenge. And there is a number of research that shows the positive linkage and positive association between employer branding activities and better recruitment and better results of retention of the current employees. That's why we've decided to look closer into the findings of this research, and also in the practice that business companies employs, and find out what are the activities that could be actually applied by the universities, and actually at relatively low cost. Some of these activities will not cost a lot to the university. And how do we understand what is employer brand? Actually, it's a package of benefits that employer could propose to their employees. And these benefits are categorized into 3 categories, which being functional benefits in terms of training that employees could receive, career development opportunities, skills and other job-related activities for personal development of employees. The second being economic benefits in terms of rewards and remunerations and incentives that employee could propose. And also psychological benefits. It is seen as identity of the employee as a university member, recognition, and belonging to the organization they work for. Further on, employer branding actually would mean process of building the identifiable and unique identity as an employer, and also naturally provision of this functional, economic and psychological benefits to employees. This would also mean development of organizational image and reputation, which is really important for universities to do. And actually, employer brand is still evolving concept. And it could be research from the different perspectives, and it actually research at the intersection of marketing, human resource development, and organizational psychology. When we looked into the available research, we saw that it could be approached actually from different angles, but we find that these conceptual schemes actually explains the whole complexity of this issue, with corporate brand being at the center of it. The corporate brands for universities would mean what the representation of university values, vision and mission. It's the image of the organization as a whole. And then there's a product brand. In case of university, it would be a service brand. That means that brand that people buy, or in our case, brand that our student buy. I mean, services in terms of studies that they receive and education that they receive at the university. And the product brand is related to, to the unique sales proposition that is made. On the contrary, the employer brand, that means the brand for which people work, is related to employer value proposition. So it is all the group of values that is proposed by employee to their employer to the employees. It's in terms of a culture, of a work-life balance, of a system of remuneration, of career perspectives, of the training they receive, etc. As you can see, this employer value proposition lies at the very heart of employer brand and the employer branding process. Other authors explored the definition of what kind of values is packaged in employee value proposition. And these are economic benefits and economic values. This is the degree to which the employer, the university, could propose remuneration and the schemes of career development to the employee, which would be distinctive from other competitive organizations. This is the value in reputation, whether the university holds the promise and actually the employee receives what he was proposed to when he was on an entry point university. Also, reputation is related to the status of a university, as business companies are seeking to compete among themselves to become and get the Best Employee Award. The universities are competing among themselves to get the high rank in national university rankings and also in international university ranking. For instance, World University rankings, Time Higher Education, multi-rank. All of us would like to be high on the list. As we are working for that institution, having a high rank would improve our prospects, further prospects of career development if we would seek employment in other institutions, or advancement, or even seek employment on international arena. And further on, there's the values of development. The way it could be contributed to self-confidence and realization of skills. Also social value, to the degree to which this place of employment is happy, is socially acceptable to personal values, and people enjoy being there. And there's also values related to interest, to which employer could provide an environment which is good for learning new things. If the organization has implemented some novelty, this is another value to employee. Also, application value, the degree to which employee could also learn new things and also teach others what is important. And diversity value, the degree to which organization and university make sure that there's sufficient diversity in terms of age, competences, gender, etc., etc. The recommendation what we forward for university in seeking to implement employer branding strategy could be categorized into 4 sections related with the 4 questions. The first of which being where. University who would like to try to implement the employer branding strategy should actually discuss and look at to existing strategies in place and find a proper place for this very action in it. As it was mentioned in the presentations of today's conference, not all of the university has actually developed their human management strategy and inserted it into the university strategic plan. That's why it might be a little bit more difficult to find a place for employer branding, but still it could be allocated. And the second question is what? As I mentioned, the employee value proposition is at the core of the employer branding process. That's why the university has to define what is make the university distinctive, what distinctive assets it possesses, and what target audiences the university would like to reach. This means that where is the main problem at the moment for the university, whether it's at recruiting some new talent or whether it's at retention of current employees, what are the current situation, and it will have effect on the employee value proposition. It is really recommended to focus on 3 to 5 actions in the employer branding strategy, not to get lost with all variety of the groups. So the action should be taken at the area which requires the most attention. The third question is who. It's really important to agree on who takes the responsibility for employer branding strategy. It's not an easy question to answer, because in business companies the human resource departments most often takes the role of the leader for employer branding. For the universities, it might be vice versa. It might be the departments for communication or public relation who takes the role and starts the employer branding. But which is most important, It's the coordination between human resource department and communication or public relation department in the implementation of a strategy, which will be crucial. And then it's how. It's how we communicate the employee value proposition to targeted audiences, being it applicants and potential employees, maybe it's apprentices and trainees you would like in the future see as employees, and maybe it's current employees. And the answer to the how is related to choosing the communication channels. It might be social media, intranet, other sources. And I would like to draw your attention to 3 communication challenge that the university might explore in thinking about employer branding strategy. It's a social media. Research actually shows that in past decade the role of social media showing dramatic growth. Business companies now reflect and report that almost 70% of the action related to employer brandings are communicated via social media, being it Facebook or LinkedIn or other social media that is more used in a certain area. And it might be important to use brand ambassadors. There's a prominent representative of your organization, prominent academics, actual in a social arena, that could be used and actually are, without even knowing, they are representing your university, they are selling your university brand. And brand ambassadors could be the alumni of the university who actually now works in businesses but still could represent university. One interesting aspect in communication could be earned media. Earned media is any publicity that is made by a third party, not by the university itself, and for which the university doesn't pay. That means if university involves themselves in any social action, for instance, like helping the community, disadvantaged group, it could be then further on presented by these other organizations you cooperate with, and this might enhance your brand. Other opportunities for employer branding, it could be in co-branding. If you cooperate with a highly ranked university, or you have targeted activities together with other universities, increases your brand. And also, you could build the brand alliances. If your name of your university is mentioned in publicity together with the most highly ranked universities, it raises your profile as well. And the last thing is, of course, that you, in the process of employer branding strategy implementation, you should be aware of diversity factors in the process. The diversity factors comes from the age, the gender of the employee, the current employment status, the cultural differences which naturally appears from region to region, from country to country, in terms of the communication channels, in terms of the action taken by university, in terms of the way university is organized, whether it's private or public university. So there's a lot of a question to be answered, just to be more precise about your employee value proposition that you are developing. And contextual factor is like a sum of mentioned. And before I finish my presentation, I would like you to take a few moments and answer yourself to 3 questions, to 3 whats, as I called it. What is associated with your university brand? Just think for a moment, does your university has a brand? Yes, of course it does. And what is the emotional association carried out with this brand? And what makes your university a unique place to work? If someone asks you, why do you work for this university, what would be your answer? And the third question, what employee value proposition could university make? What do you receive as an employee if you're in a university in terms of social function, economical benefits, and how are the values that have been presented before in this very presentation? And for the details, you could follow the website of the project, Hr4Asia, and just read the article that we've prepared. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for those enlightening questions as well as an amazing presentation. Our next speaker will be Hr4Asia Project from Prince Songkla University, Pattani campus. And she will be presenting on coaching in the university to enhance employee performance. I hope you enjoy her presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For those who met me this morning, so see you again in the afternoon. Okay, I'm Hr4Asia Project. I represent Prince of Songkla University, Pattani campus. So in the afternoon, I'm going to talk about the topic that actually is represented just now. Okay, I give a bit of details in the strategic human resource plan, that we have a plan that we want to develop human resources. Okay, so one plan that could help them to develop their performance and their working. All right, so I'm coming up with the plan of coaching. So coaching here is to enhance performance of employees in the university. Right. So if talk about coaching, yeah, actually in Thailand, the coaching is not really famous. It was, but in overseas, coaching has been in organizations like few years back, few decades back. But in Thailand, not really. Okay, especially in the higher education institution or education institution. So I'm thinking, okay, we are planning to take the coaching model and apply into the university. So the coach John Wooden say that a coach is someone who can give correction without resentment. Okay, so this is something interesting, that how we can coach, because in the university we are education institution. We give knowledge, we teach, we do training, we do teaching people. But I found that among ourselves, among the staff within, okay, in-house coaching is very rare activities that we have done so far. So the introduction, yeah, as I told you just now, that we have annual performance evaluation. We do evaluate them. We do score them. Okay. So in each year we give them increment. Right? We have to, because yeah, they are the employees, and one way to keep them motivated is that we need to give some increment. Okay, increment, high or low, high, it depends on the performance. So in each year, you can see that the longer the year of services, the higher the salary. But who can guarantee that those who are working like how many years of services, they are actually perform. We have a lot of employees who are like maybe 2 to 3 years going to retire, okay? But the performance is not that higher than the newcomers. The newcomers, the new recruited, they started with low salary. Okay, they started with low salary, but they might have higher performance. So these two people, why not? Okay, why the other one could get higher salary, get high payment, while as they are not able to perform up to the salary that they get paid. So that's the reason why we talk about this. So yeah, of course we want to utilize them as much as we can. Okay, we need to make sure that the economics, we need to make sure that every money, every cent that we pay to them, we got something in return. We want to see the outcome, of the performance. Then the coaching. Coaching, some people still get confused concept of coaching. They may think that coaching is just talking. Yeah, I've been chit chat with many of directors. They said, yeah, I do talk to my staff. I know the problems of my staff, but still the staff still are not able to work up to the standard. Yeah, so they still not sure what is coaching. But here coaching. So coaching here, we need to understand the nature of human, that we all have capabilities. We can do something. We all have potential. But ourselves, we do not know what we have. We do not know what we are best at. So we need someone to somehow realize that, yeah, you are good in that. You are good in this area. Because let's say we have 10 staff. We cannot make 10 staff to be the same people. They have their own potential. Some staff may good in management. Some staff may good in computer. Some staff may good in communication skills. So we need to coach them and bring out the potential. Especially when the coaching is from the manager, from someone that they respect. So they will trust, and then they will follow according to what manager said. So it's very important to see that coaching is not counseling. It's not counseling. It's not a session that you talk about your personal issue. It's not a session to cry and say that I'm so stressed with work, I'm so burnt out with so many things. It's not that. Okay? The coaching is we want to drive someone up to their standards. Okay? Coaching is not therapy. We are not here to talk and then you can remove some bad habit. No, it's not a therapy. It's not giving an advice, because in a coaching session, it's more to ask them and make them realize by themselves. Okay? And coaching is not consulting. If manager and maybe the subordinates want to discuss, want to talk, yeah, they may talk in another session, counseling session, advising session, or maybe like other informal like chit chat session, so they can talk about personal issues. But in the coaching session, we want to make sure that they can work. They can change how they work. So they are able to work up to their standard. And why coaching work? Okay. So there is information collected by ICF, International Coach Federation. They say that 99% are satisfied with overall experience. So we can see that, yes, of course, it could increase productivity. Why? 70% said it's improved work performance. Yeah, if work performance is getting improved, of course the productivity is improved. 61% say improved business management. So it's another consequences of work performance. 57 say improved time management. So they can work with a lesser time, but more works, more productive. And 51% improve team effectiveness. Teamwork now we cannot avoid. We need to work as a team. To achieve certain goal, we need to work as a team. The organization is managed to increase the productivity and within the organization could have more positive people. People could be maybe neutral or is more likely to be negative, but with the coaching and a good coaching techniques, it could make people to become more positive. 80% said improve self-confidence because the potential is being extracted. So they know, oh yeah, I can do something, I will do something. So with that feeling, with that commitment, they build more self-confidence, higher self-esteem. 73% said improve relationships. Relationships here is not like couples at home, it's colleagues. Like colleagues relationships, is the relationships between the manager and themselves, or themselves with the subordinates. Okay, it's the work-related relationships. 72% said improve communication skills. Communication skills here is, they can talk more, they can listen more. The communication skills is not just only talking, but you must be able to listen actively. You know what they are trying to say, the message and the feeling. And the last information given here is that 67% improve work-life balance. Yeah, so they have more life, okay. Weekends they can enjoy their life and then they could work as much as they can. Right, so we need to understand that this is a psychology fact that people tend to change if certain criteria are met. The first criteria is that they have the felt need. They want to change. So meaning that they are going to do something if they are not being forced. They felt the need that I need to improve myself. I need to improve my work performance. The felt need is from inside, okay, the coaching. Number two, people grow when they are encouraged by someone they respect. So in the coaching session, we need to get the higher manager, the direct manager, the one who really taking care of them, okay, in the line of direction. That one will be the one who coach them. Because if you get somebody else, okay, maybe cross-function, cross-department to coach him, maybe the feeling of, yeah, I need to change is not there. This is a psychology fact, okay. Number three, people grow when their plans move from general goals to specific action. If you give like very broad, you have to success, okay, very general goals. You have to be a best employee next year, very general. But then if we could discuss and come out with a specific action, let's say if you want to be a best employee, okay, the best employee of this department, what you should do, 1, 2, 3, 4. The specific action should be derived from the discussion. Number 4, people grow as they move from a condition of a lower to higher esteem. Yeah, the self-confidence must be coming from inside, the higher esteem. And the last one, okay, people grow as they move from external to internal commitment. Again, it's from internal. They have the feeling to change. I need to change for myself. I'm not changing this for anyone. For example, you can see that let's say somebody wants to reduce weight. If people want to say you have to reduce weight, no. But if the feeling is from inside, oh yeah, I have to reduce my weight, some weight, then yeah, the action will come. So here I would suggest the model that could be useful for the coaching. Here is the GROW model. So GROW, okay, G-R-O-W, is a consequence steps. Some of you here might heard this model already. So it's very simple. Okay, very simple. It's the techniques that you can use in the conversation, in the discussion. So G as a goal, meaning that first stage, we are talking about what are their goals, what are the objectives of life, of working here. Talk about goals, to see the goals that they have set, not the goal that you want them to be. again, from psychology just now, they need to change, they are changing from internal commitment. So the goal here, you are talking with them, you ask them the question, the coachee, what are the goals? What are your goals? What are your objectives? Right. Next, reality. So once they talk about goals, they explain, okay, the goals is to be the best employee, maybe to be the leader some days. So they explain the goal. The next stage is talk about reality. So what about the current situation? How do you evaluate yourself? Ask them, reality. So from the explaining of reality, now the person who are being asked, they know that, oh yeah, they know the gap. They have set the goal somewhere, but at the moment the reality is somehow far from the goal. You are not telling them that, hey, it's very far. Your goal is too high and your reality is here. But the talking, the techniques here is to make them realize by themselves that there is a gap from reality to your goal. Or options. So options here is how to reach your goal. See, the goal is there, but your reality is here. What are the options? What are the options that can bring yourself from the reality to the goals? Right. And the last one is way forward. So this way forward is to make the general plan into specific action. What should be the first step? Okay, after discussing about all the options, what would be the first step? Any things that you need help from me? Or how confident are you to do this? So we somehow to put direction to make them feel more confident that, okay, the options that they have planned just now, somehow it can be done. It can be me. Right. So from this grow model, okay, we have this writer, they compliment about this model, say that within this framework, the coaching is fluid, natural, and artistic. Very artistic, yeah. So there's the art of discussion. But again, you are not saying anything. Remember the first slide is that coaching is not giving an advice. Meaning that in the coaching session, you are asking a question. So in the techniques of do the coaching here, first one is use open-ended question. You ask more open-ended questions so that they can explain more. You need to extract the thoughts of the person who is being coached. So ask more open-ended questions. Let them describe this. Let them elaborate more on the points. Okay, GR or the just now. Number two, remember that never judge the person you are coaching or their situation. Again, they need to raise up to their standards, not your standards. Some people may have only like 2. Some people may have the background is only like 3, 4, 5. So to reach into 10, let's say you put the goal, the standard as 10. Different employee will be different background. So you need to see the background you don't judge them, and then somehow maybe the first coaching might not success yet, but you need to follow up. The first coaching, the second coaching, the third coaching. Right. Number 3, do not ask multiple questions, meaning that you ask one question at a time. Otherwise, if you ask multiple questions at a time, they get confused. Which one should I answer first? And again, human thought tend to answer the last question. So they forgot about the first question. So take your time, okay, take your time, ask question by question, but still follow the grow model. Number 4, do not ask leading questions. Let's say you have certain answer in your mind. You want them to answer as what you want, but try not to hint them. Okay, as I said just now that maybe the first question still not, the first coaching not success. The second coaching still not successful, then go for more. People have their own standards, okay? But make sure that the coaching works. Number 5, clarifying points made. Okay, maybe the question is not so clear. So instead of asking the same question again, you may paraphrase or rephrase the question. Some people might not understand the first question you gave. So you rephrase, you change the wording and clarify what you want to say. Number 6, very important in the communication skills, is that listen carefully. Okay, listen actively, right? So that from the listen actively, you know what to ask next. So this is the action plan that I'm going to use and apply in the university, in our campus. So we are going to schedule the coaching session. One coaching per month is very extensive. It's too much. Okay, so start from, let's say, quarterly. 3 months we have one coaching. So this one coaching session, we will allocate 30 minutes for one coaching session, and the coach will be the manager. They say the director of certain department, maybe the head of certain function, coach the staff inside the team. And of course, once the coaching is done, we should have some record. Then we need to implement the database. So this database somehow will provide record. That this coaching has been done by whom, to whom, when, okay, and what are the details of discussion. So that we can use this in the performance management later. Finally, okay, it's very important that employee need to acknowledge that, I acknowledge that the coaching session we discuss about certain area. Right. Okay. So finally, very important, a good coach always coach to a leader's potential. Right. Not his current level of performance. A good leadership coach will see the potential in you and inspire you accordingly. Yeah, so that would be all from myself, from Prince of Songkla University, Pattani campus.
Thank you for that illuminative and well-spoken presentation. Our last presentation will be from Ho Long Hok from University of Da Nang, speaking on the situation of strategic solution for human resource development at the University of Da Nang.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the University of Da Nang, it's my honor to be here to present about my topic, that is transition solution for the human development of the University of Da Nang. So human resource development closely relates to the current context of the university. But first of all, I would like to present a very brief introduction about our university. So our University of Da Nang was selected by the Prime Minister to be one of the 3 biggest centers in education of the university in Vietnam, including Hanoi National University, Ho Chi Minh National University, and the University of Da Nang. And with the ranking, our university ranked 417 in Asia by QS, and the second in Vietnam by the university ranking of Hr4Asia ranking. And you can see the organization of our university is quite complicated because we have a university, sub-university under the University of Da Nang. You can have a look at our slide, the president board, and then we have a functional department. Like I work at the International Cooperation Department, Mr. Hong, the coordinator of the project, work at the R&D department. And under that, we have a sub-university. So we have the comprehensive university, including University of Science and Technology, University of Education, University of Foreign Language Study, University of Economics, and University of Information Technology. So at present, in the current context of our university, we have 2,316 cadre, including 1,400 54 lecturers, and in the lecturer we had nearly 31% of people holding the PhD. And you can have a look at the slide in the yellow column. That is the PhD holder. Our University of Da Nang had an increase of more than 2 times of the number of the PhD holder from the year 2011. We had less than 200, but until 2017 we have nearly 400. And at present we have more than 450 PhD holders in the lecture. And we all know that we should pay attention to the university development orientation and objective, and we should compare the present state of the organization with its future world, and then we can identify what changes it must make in its human resource development to meet those goals. And in the development orientation of our University of Da Nang, we would like to develop to be a research university. And with the policies of to be a research university, we should have at least 50% of the faculty to have a PhD. And at present we have only nearly 31. That's why we need to pay much attention to the training for the PhD. And we should pay attention to the competence, because competence is the foundation of a lot of activity, like the selection and hiring, career development, training and development, etc. And training can only benefit the organization when it is linked to the university needs and motivate employees. For example, at our university, we recruit the people who had the PhD holder. Maybe they had just come to work at our university, but they can receive the higher salary than the people who has got the PhD holder. So that's the way we encourage and we attract the PhD holder to work as a lecturer at our university. So I want to say more about the competence, because the competence is not only the technical, the professional knowledge, but it is the skill and behavior also. For example, at present, in the international integration and all the university in Southeast Asia, we would like to have a ranking in the QS. And at present in our university, all of the professors, they not only focus on their professional knowledge, but they also have attend many training courses relating to accreditation and many competitions like the university-industry relationship, work-based learning, and many things. So I think that's so that we can adapt to the requirement. And relating to the competition, we can set the difference between the whole university requirement and the individual application. So with the individual application, we need only the functional and technical competence. And with, for example, a department, a big one, so we need also the managerial and leadership competencies. So it depends on its job, its position. So we need another competencies. So we should know that competence includes the functional competence and the behavior competence. So I think that the functional competence, so I think that it's more easy to train, because with the behavior, that is a continual process. And it also including the heart, the emotion, and the devotion of one's to the development of the university. So the other strategic solution of our university is to focus on the research development. And at present, we have some achievement, like we want to increase the publication in the ISI and scoreboard And annually we have a 100 article published in the ISI scoreboard. And we thought that we have some strategic solution like that. We want to encourage all our lecturers to connect with their college in or out of our university, and the foreign university also to establish the TRT team, that is the teaching research team, so that they can do the research and answer some hot topic, not only of the university, but the city and the central region of Vietnam. And we fund, for example, when the lecturer, they can publish some article on the ISI, they can have some condition following the regulation of the university, but we also have a bonus for them. They have nearly 2,000 US dollars if they can publish an article for ISI scoreboard. And with the performance evaluation, so I think that's important because from the president board, they encourage all the lecturers have to do the research. And when we do the performance assessment, they will look at what they have researched during the academic year. And with the charts, you can look at the red one with the ISI scorer from the 2011-2016, and we have a very quickly increase from the 6 to 76. And the next one is we have to focus on the market demand. You know that our university Da Nang is located in Da Nang City, and Da Nang City would like to develop to become a non-smoke industry. That's why we would like to pay attention to many measures that is supporting to the development of the city, like the IT, automation, telecommunication, tourism and hospitality, e-commerce, etc. So I think that the combination, the human resource development, we can imitate. We cannot imitate, we cannot borrow, but that is a continual training. That's why we should create the sustainable human resource and develop the professional human resources, attract and employ talent, and encourage and honor the spirit of dedication. And university can succeed if it has a sustainable competitive advantage. So I think that again a competitive advantage, so we should do, our university to do a list of things. And the next one solution is to renovate the financial policy for human resource development. So every year we give a fund to train the lecturer, and not only to have the PhD, but also for the short course, so that they can acquire with many skills that can provide them with the requirement of this. I think that of the current context in education. At our university, we also establish a financial resource for our research also, so that we encourage all of the students also, and the professor and lecturer and staff to do the research. Because you know that we have a mission to become a research university. That's why research plays an important role. And renovate the mechanism and policies of inviting lecturer and guest lecturer is also a solution. For example, the Hr4Asia is also an initiative, because this is a place for us to share the knowledge, the experience, and we can establish a network so that we can learn the updating, and we can have a benchmark visit and many things, so that I think that we can learn something. and conduct a survey and assessment on the status of guest letter and standardization of regulation on UD guest letter. So we welcome the visiting lecturer, and when they come to teach with us, and after that we get the survey so that they can give comment and feedbacks. We can adjust and we can make it for improvement. So in sum, I think that human resources development is a continuing process, and one individual couldn't make it successful. We need the commitment, the involvement, and the determination of all the people in our university. And I think that performance assessment play an important role. So when we have an assessment, we can solve for one to see that what should be improved and what should be, I think that overcome so that it makes it better. So thank you for your attention. Thank you.